So here I am on the road today. Some driving, just came back from my mom's, or going back from my mom's work, picked up some flowers, and she called me to pick up some flowers. I thought I was going to bring those flowers to her place, and found out that she wanted me to take the flowers to my house. So I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know. But either way, I had to go. I'd have to go there and pick it up anyways, because she doesn't drive, so I had to pick it up and drop it off at her house. If it was for me. Yeah. Hopefully there's no Babylon out there. Yeah, that's the flowers. So I'm on my way back home, or not home, but I gotta do some more stops anyways. And yeah, the more than Miss Dana, that's a shorter I have, but it's not. I'm not advertising anything like that. It's more for, when I go out, I wear it, and I hope to provoke conversations. And schizophrenia is one of those things where people don't really want to talk about, and it's hard, right? It's a hard conversation to bring up. So it's a shirt about, and I can say, blah blah blah, and I got a YouTube channel, blah blah blah. But it's weird because nobody ever said anything. I have on the back, it says above and beyond schizophrenia, and I'll turn around and I see people looking and they look away. But they never maybe they find it awkward. I think it's not awkward considering I'm the one wearing the shirt, right? But maybe they don't. They just curious, right? But I find it hilarious though. Because no one has ever said anything. But and I know schizophrenia. There's a lot of people who got schizophrenia, family members or something. Somebody. When I went to work and I talked about this. I mentioned I worked. I tell everybody, oh yeah, I got schizophrenia, blah blah blah. And so many people had a relative or a wife, or somebody, a friend, schizophrenia. I was like, oh my God, I never would have guessed it. Even people themselves either had schizophrenia or struggling with something similar, right? And you never would have guessed it, right? So it's more prevalent than what you would think. But it's one of those things that's difficult to talk about, anyways. But what I wanted to talk about was the fact that I'm driving. Yeah. How about that? Nah, it's more how I got here. How did I get driving? Because I know one of the things with schizophrenia is self-confidence, man. You don't have a lot of confidence in yourself to do a lot of things. Driving is one of those things, or can be one of those things, right? And when I was starting out, I was not, starting out to recover and to, make some progress in my life. I never thought that I would be able to drive, right? It was a strange thing because I had so much going on, right? The overwhelming thoughts. Then there's the hallucinations, right? The hallucinations. What if I'm driving and I see a red light when there's a green light, or a green light when there's a red light, no stop when there's a stop, vice versa, all that, stuff like that, safety issues like that. So I was really concerned. And also the thoughts, like you're wrapped up in your mind, wrestling with thoughts, so much so that you can't even see what's in front of you. You're like totally involved in your imagination sometimes, right? Perceptions and so forth, with other people. You're driving with other people and you're thinking they're hearing your thoughts, they're speaking your thoughts or responding to your thoughts, and now you start to wonder what's going on. You start to wonder. Are they this? Are they that? Really? And so much so that you just kind of lose track of what's happening, right? It's like daydreaming, you know, you fall asleep. And so these are things that I really needed to answer for myself because of just the uncertainty. And what I did was I had to start paying attention with when I was driving with other people, like my sisters or whoever else, right? Start to pay attention. And I had to be, and I never talked about my family, or never talked to my family about schizophrenia. I never did, right? Because I was so used to going through everything alone internally, like feeling, and when I say that, I don't mean like support-wise. I mean dealing with the symptoms and the you know, all that, feeling alone, like everyone was against me, and who can I turn to? If I wanted to talk to somebody, I'd hear them kind of mock me or say something that'll push me away. So how am I going to talk to you? I can't even trust you, right? And so that's and so that was something that I had to come out of, because I had to be willing to question some of the things I've seen, right? Because I'm driving with my sister and I see her run through a red light, like clear red light, right? I see a parked vehicle, a stopped vehicle, and you're gonna ram in the vehicle. I gotta say, hey, what are you doing? You know, I gotta say, stop, you know, don't, or something like that. Something dramatic, because it's gonna terrify me. And they're gonna be like, what the heck are you talking about? You're freaking me out. So, which will be a sign that something is wrong. So I had to be willing to say when I think something's off. And you know, that's something that was uncomfortable, right? But I had to go through all of that, the uncomfortable things, right? But so, you know, as I started to start paying attention, looking, making sure that my vision, what I was seeing, aligned with what they were seeing, and if something was off, I would question it. I'd be willing. I never had a moment where I had to question. I never had a moment where I had to, you know, make those dramatic sounds, right? Shouting and freaking out. And then I practiced driving with my sister before I even went into driver's ed program. I wanted to be comfortable behind the wheel, and also test myself again with myself behind the wheel. And so, you know, we go driving in little slow neighborhoods, like, you know, where we live was kind of, you know, just residential areas, is slow, and not a lot of vehicles moving at certain times of the days, really all the time. But so that helped as well with my confidence. I was going to go to driver's ed program where I'm going to drive with a stranger, which might just make me more nervous, still dealing with some of these symptoms, right? So I kind of just learned to build up my confidence, and then the more, you know, the more I did that, and the more I did with the driver's ed, and there's never been an issue, right? Never been an issue with that at all. So I felt confident, right? And to get out there and you know, get my vehicle, do my own thing. And the only issues I had actually was when I was actually working at this point, had my car, everything working, doing a part-time job, 4 hours a day, and it was Monday to Friday. And it was, I talked about this in a medication video where I pulled the parking brake while I was driving because I was confused. I thought I was in the parking lot of work still, right? I literally like felt myself sitting in a parking lot of work, like I just parked, and went home. I felt this was a medication issue for some reason. I can't tell you why. I just felt like because I was good up until this point. Everything was good, and all of a sudden this was there. I'm like, no, something is wrong. And then just medication. Go check the medication, the thought said. And I checked the medication, and it says, you know, as went through all the list of possible side effects, and confusion was on there. And I laughed because I found it ridiculous that I was confused, a confused man taking a medication that was supposed to help the confusion, and one of the side effects was confusion. So what's the point? So I ended up stopping the medication. And I never had anything like that since, right? Any issues like that. So that was, and that's one of the issues that maybe people who are thinking or wanting to have that kind of independence may have also, is the medications, how the medications make you feel, right? So you can't function, you can't think right, your mind isn't clear. And then there's those things like confusion, right? So if it's not the schizophrenia symptoms, and you have the medication side effects, which are just symptoms as well, it might as well be, right? There's a different name, but same thing, because, you know, some of these things are actually symptoms that you have with schizophrenia, and the medications will mimic those same freaking things, right? At least in my experience, right? And you check the list, yeah. So, but other than that, man, I've been good, you know, and I think that's one of the things that people maybe obviously have to think about and consider. But I know that if you're going to move forward and you have those concerns about whether the hallucinations are going to play a role and affect your judgment on the road, then you know, if that's something you want to do to move forward, and you're not sure, maybe you haven't experienced that, but you know, go driving with somebody, whether you're on the bus, you know, check everything, see if your vision lines up with that of the bus driver or that of the other driver. You know, if they're running, you know, you see a stop, you mark it, a red light, you mark it, green light, you mark, you know, and everything is good, there's nothing crazy, be confident, you know. Go driving with somebody. Again, that's another thing that you can do to help build your confidence. Let them know what's going on, let them know you're practicing, let them know that this is something that you're doing in order to build up your confidence, and then go in a neighborhood where it's slow, you're not, you know, it's time to react, they can let you know, and you call out what you see with your intersections and so forth, so that there's that they can correct you if need be, and it helps build your confidence, right? Like, it's something I didn't do, but I think it's something that I maybe going back I would have done. I think it would be right, it would be good, and it would help, right? Be transparent, and that way everybody's ready and to help. And like I said, that's something that I never done for myself. Was something I never done was felt comfortable doing or thought to do was talk about schizophrenia with other people or my family, or what I was doing to recover. I never mentioned that to anybody, but going back, maybe would have been good if everyone knew what I was doing, and I'm sure they would have said not to stop my meds. My mom did, but just in my plans, because I had this whole plan worked out, and I was the only one that was aware of it, you know. But anyways, man, that's it. This video is longer than it needed to be, but hopefully, you know, gave you some insight into that, and potentially on what you can do to help yourself going forward, or just, you know, things to be aware of. Anyways, yeah, I am at this store now. I gotta go. I gotta go in. Yeah, so the morning mist 9-9. highest level, man, because after that we're back to zeros and ones later.